Boy.
All right, now I think I can hear you.
Art?
Yep.
So far.
Okay, good.
I had to close everything on my phone and just like start it back up again. So,
Hey.
Yeah.
Lay down.
all right. And I have, all right, there we go. We already got people joining in the chat. Awesome.
What's going
Wait,
on, guys?
Let's see if this works. You ready? Let's see if, oh, I can't do it.
What happened?
You gotta be, since you set up the stream, you can click on the comments and actually pop them up into the overall feed so that everybody will see it. There you go.
Now.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Wait.
there you go.
What's going on, ELW?
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, right? That's when I was like looking at this, but when we first were testing it out, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is cool.
Okay,
All right,
so
we got it.
Ed just joined us along with Raider Diddy. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Frank also joined us. Wipeout Trains is also joining in.
Yep.
What's up, Cody?
What's going on, Cody? All right, well, I think we better get this party started right here.
Absolutely.
So what you guys wanted to talk about first, since we're,
Crap. All right, wait. Do you have the list open that we all started, or
believe I do, actually.
do you want to start there, or do you just want to open it up? Well, first of all, what's our topic, Mike?
That's a good question. I didn't really have anything in too particular to discuss with you guys tonight. I just wasn't so sure if you guys had anything that you wanted to discuss over first before we get on with the Q&A here.
Yeah, well, our overall topic, right, that we wanted to talk about was kind of like, our lead up to York, right? And obviously, Ray, I watched your video this morning, so I literally got off that video and I could not focus for the rest of the day. I was like, shit, I have to work on my list even more now. I got to think about what order I need to go in, because I wasn't even thinking about that when you started talking about it. I was like, oh, I should think about what tables I need to go to first.
Right. Well, I actually didn't get a chance to print out the questions that you sent me until last minute. I was
that's okay.
So busy, not only yesterday but today as well. And while I was, doing a lot of this running around, I was thinking to myself, why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? I was like, oh crap, I gotta print out the list. But thankfully, I did get a chance to do that before we got a chance to start everything here. So
good, because I can't pull up the photo on my laptop. I can only do it on my phone, and obviously, I'm using my phone here. So,
well, why don't we start with who's been there before?
Okay, that's actually a good idea.
Okay.
So,
like you're in the comments, right? Thumbs up and not thumbs up. What's it? There's like a wave or something you can do in the comment, right?
Right. Trying to see how I can do that. What's going on, David? Happy York Week to you too.
Happy York Week.
All right, guys. So since we're all here, I think we might as well get on with the Q&A here. We'll also be shooting the breeze like we always do with my good friends Art and Ray here joining me for tonight's live stream. Now, this is actually going to be our pre-York live stream. And once we go live again after the show, we'll be discussing about some of the items that we collected from the York show. We'll also be talking about our experiences as well from not only this upcoming show, but the past shows that we've been to. And most importantly, like we always do, we're here to have fun.
All right. Ed's never been, but Ed, you're out in Vegas, right? If I remember correctly.
Delaware.
Ed's in Delaware. All right. Why did I think he was in Vegas? Who's in Vegas then?
I think you might be getting mixed up with Ed in the comments section.
No, that's what I was talking about. Ed,
he's usually the guy that's from Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Ed, and I just saw his comment pop up that he's never been. He's in. Yeah, there you go. He's in Vegas. Yeah. By the way, I just noticed you're rocking the Grzyboski's t-shirt there.
You suck.
I did too.
Still. First of all, I gotta say I love both your guys' rooms. My ugly white walls compared to your guys' sweet background.
Oh, Yeah, you know, when you were talking about shelves this morning, that's a good point. Before you do anything else, get a background up. Because that's a pain in the butt to fix once you, like I actually had to go back and redo mine and I had to rip everything off the table to go do a back.
So I got a comment about that. Those Glenn Snyder shelves. I don't know if you guys have them. And someone commented on my video that they only do, they're only going to have like pre-ordered stuff there. Like they won't have new inventory, which would be a bummer, but we kind of. So.
That makes a lot of sense though, right? Because I was thinking about it after I was commenting back and forth on your video with you, that like I could just imagine a truck full of 6-foot sections that like
exactly.
sell out,
and I called them today and it was just a voicemail saying, "We're at York, see ya next week." And I was like, oh no.
And I wish like all the things I thought of, I never thought to pre-order those because I want to get them. So I have this like ductwork up here that I want to like put them along the ductwork.
Right.
My hand's all screwed up with how I'm trying to do it. But like this, because I could put them out of the kids' reach and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of see right here I have two 6-foot sections cut into 3-foot sections. There should be, I think there's 4 shelves there.
Yeah, you guys both have beautiful rooms.
And then I have but I have a lot of stuff I've made myself, like this cabinet. I don't know if it comes in the video. Like this cabinet over here, I just made this out of wood from Lowe's.
Okay.
And I just have a bunch of stuff in my RC cars down the bottom.
Yep.
And I did the same thing at the other end with a bunch of stuff down there, just using wood.
So my backdrop isn't really that much of a backdrop, really. It's just mostly like a wallpaper decoration. I guess you could just say. I actually found this at like Hobby Lobby for about like $5 and some change. I mean, it's not really the most realistic backdrop that you'll ever find, but I actually do like it up here in the train room because not only do I get, well, first off, my original train layout from when me and my parents were still living in New Jersey, we had everything down in the basement, so there really wasn't any room to install one at the time. But, you know, ever since we moved up here to Delaware and, you know, once we started to assemble everything up here in the train room, I realized that since my layout was going to be up against the wall here, I'm thinking to myself, you know, this actually might be the perfect opportunity to actually finally install a backdrop this time. So like I said, I went up to Hobby Lobby, picked it up for like $5 and some change. And it's not the most realistic backdrop that you'll ever find, but I really do love how it complements not only the trains themselves, but the layout entirely.
Yeah. You know, it makes a big difference. I have to say, I had like half a backdrop on my old, before I did this, and it makes a huge difference to have it. And I have it continuous all the way down, like the, whatever that is, 16 feet I have here. All right, so Wipeout Trains was asking. So my YouTube channel is Arts Model Trains at YouTube. So yeah, and Ed said the same thing. Yeah, it does. It really helps when you're filming and stuff because you have like a contrast as opposed to the white wall. So Ray, before you put the shelves up, get a backdrop.
I got it. That's a good idea. Listen, I'll go to Hobby Lobby for that.
No, well, this was was it Backdrop Junkies? I think it was, or something like that.
Okay.
And I just emailed with the guy. He has a bunch of pictures on this website, and you just email him. You say, I need this length and this height,
right? And
he'll make it for you. So like I needed a certain height because I wanted to sneak below all the pictures I already had on the wall and everything.
And he wouldn't even be that much for this room, and it would be like totally worth it. Totally.
Yeah, and it's really easy. Like in this corner over here, I have it like go into the corner and then just turn. And I didn't glue mine to the wall. I used painter's tape and just like made like those, you know, and just rolled it. Like, you know how you make those rolls with tape?
Sure.
And then I just put a bunch of it on the back and then just laid it against the wall really smooth and just took my time, like smooth. And I had my wife help me with part of it.
That's
so, yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, because I did not want to like glue anything to the wall permanently. That would be like, you know, my hope is, so I'm in the basement and I have this long wall here, but there's more basement this way. So my hope is when the kids get older and leave, this moves over here and I get a bigger spot. And then I'll get to that 060, probably not 072 like you, but I'll get to 060 curves at least at that point. So, yeah, gotta get those kids off to college. But then I won't be able to afford trains at that point. So then what's the difference?
I did take over my daughter's room.
So I went back and watched some of your old videos because I was like, I don't know anything about his layout. And I was like watching those videos and I was like, yes, absolutely. That's you. And that's why like my layout was a 4x8 shoved way down that side of the basement.
Right.
And then every time I wanted to make it bigger, it was like, hey boys, I'm going to do this and I'm going to take over a little more of the basement. And my son was like, you can do it if I could put a racetrack on the table. I'm like, done. All right. And I took another 4x4 section of the basement. And then I was like, I'm going to go here and do this, but I'm not going to take up any more of the basement. And they're like, okay, go ahead. And then I was telling my son, I'm like, I want to go into that corner and like get rid of this. And he's like, as long as it doesn't come this way, you're good.
Right.
So, all right, cool. All right, wait. Ed said he painted his own backdrop. He did skies and clouds, but struggled with the hills and trees. Yeah, I've seen a few guys do that. Who's doing it? Oh, who's the guy in Boston? Well, I can't think of his name right now. He does a lot like those really fast unboxings. Oh, this is gonna kill me. I gotta look him up now. Real Toy Trains. Have you guys ever seen him? He does. Oh yeah, Real Toy Trains.
Well,
His wife is an artist, and she is painting. I'm just looking it up right now. Last I looked, he was talking about her. She was painting the concrete wall behind his layout in like this really cool, like stormy scene because they're up in like Massachusetts or whatever.
Right.
Really cool. Really cool. I think it's Real Toy Train. Let me just double check so you guys can go check it out. Yeah, Real Toy Trains. You guys go check it out. He's got a pretty cool layout.
Kelly.
what's going on, Kelly?
I love it. I see the chat. That's so cool. So yeah, Mike, I know you were at York last year because I saw you, but was that your first or no?
That was actually the second time that me and my dad have been up there. So
Okay.
this time it'll be our third time.
Okay.
Going.
And Art, have you been or no?
I have not been. So I thought about trying to go last October and I just gave up on it. And then I was really thinking about it. What was it? April, I think was the last one. And I was gonna do it. And then like, work just got busy and I couldn't. And then I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, I bought my ticket. I booked like the vacation day. I already told her, I told her months in advance. And I have to keep reminding her every couple of weeks. I'm like, this Friday, by the way, I'm leaving at 6 a.m. and probably not coming home till like 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Okay, so Art, you're getting there Friday as well. You're not going to go tomorrow.
I can't. Yeah, okay. I can't do. It's just short of a 3-hour drive from me.
Okay.
So yeah.
Same for you. Okay. Yeah, it's about 2.5 from me, and yeah, I'll be up at 8 tomorrow driving down.
Nice.
And so last year was my first, and it was a little overwhelming, honestly, especially going alone. I know Mike's going to be with his dad, but are you going solo or?
I am going solo. So
okay.
I was trying to drag my dad, but he's like 70-something years old. And I was like, Dad, it's 7 buildings. We're going out for a day. You got to be prepared to walk. And he was like, you're on your own.
Friday might be. Thursday like really shocked me. Like I get there a little early, like 11:30. It opens at noon, right? And they like played the national anthem. People were lined up already, like to get in, like almost outside. So I get in line, and it's an older group. We're a little younger, but there's definitely an older crowd there, and the guy, when they let him in, it was, I'm not exaggerating, it was a stampede. These
so like, like Walmart on Black Friday?
I'm sure it was.
I couldn't believe what was coming. It was very cool, but I couldn't, it was a lot to take in.
Just the way, just the way you're kind of describing it, I can really definitely picture in my head.
So I'm going to get there a little even earlier tomorrow to get online.
Was it like that the other days too, Friday and Saturday, or
no? But I also didn't go in when it opened because I guess it opens at 9 on Friday. Yeah. So I think I slept too late. I ended up being a straggler. So Cody, it's a shame, Cody. You let us down. You should be coming from California.
They have, what do they have, like a UPSer's table or something like that? You could ship everything home that you buy. You don't even have to carry it on the plane.
So then today, I guess supposedly there was a lot of, what do they call it, bandit sets, like
Yeah.
bandit stuff going on in the like hotels before tomorrow. And I guess York this time tried to stop that, and they actually had some of the halls open today. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I saw that. They had like a pre-show, right?
Yeah, it was a pre-show they called. So I wonder how that went. I haven't looked at anything today.
I haven't seen anything pop up yet about it.
I think I did see something about that on Facebook.
Okay.
Where, I don't know if you guys ever follow Motor Craze. I think that's what his name is. But he has like a huge layout, which is a combination of both Lionel, MTH, and Williams. He mostly runs a lot of MTH locomotives today, not so much Lionel. But he did post a little something on his Facebook page from yesterday of him doing the I don't know if he was like taking stuff to the show or not, but he was there.
Okay. Yeah, so I wonder how that went today.
Yeah. So, all right, that was one of my questions I had thrown in that list, right? Like you see the videos, right? Dakman puts out his little like official videographer of York videos, and everybody else takes some pictures here and there and sends stuff out. And I could just imagine, I've got my budget and I've got my list, just like you, Ray. And I could imagine that going out the window really fast as soon as I walk in. Like, what's your hint for how to not overspend and also how not to miss the things you want to get?
I mean, I guess it just really depends on who you're buying from. Like, I know Ray mentioned that he's been over to Seaside Hobbies here in Delaware, and they're also going to be at the show. You're also going to be having Train World over there, TM Books and Video, Mr. Muffin's Trains. I mean, a lot of the big heavy hitters out there in the model railroading community. So I guess it just really depends on who you're buying from and who you're actually familiar with.
So do you? All right, go ahead. I'll let you.
It's a tough balance, because if you see something that you've really been looking for, it's tough to walk away, because it's probably going to be gone. Like, you might be kidding yourself that you're going to find a better deal. That's one thing that was one of the other questions. So I'm going to jump in and ask it here then. How do you balance the orange hall with all the dealers versus all like the individual sellers? So as someone you guys know, I'm the newest to this, right? So I've decided what I like is like the more modern stuff, which unfortunately is the newer stuff.
Right.
Well, I did go to all the halls because I wanted to check it out, but like 90% of my time was spent in the orange hall, because that's where all the newer stuff was. Yeah. And that's where the expensive stuff is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's also where you have like the big YouTube train fanatics hanging out in there too. So that's also another part that really takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah. True. Okay. Wait, so there was a question in here. Mike and Ray, long drive. So Ray was saying you're 2.5 hours.
It's like 240, I think it's gonna be.
So that's roughly what mine is. Mine was like 250.
Yeah.
From where I'm without stops and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
245 in my dead.
And I will be stopping for breakfast. If I'm leaving at 8, I'm getting something. Coffee,
I'm eating breakfast and I'm hitting Dunkin' Donuts, getting a coffee and a donut, and on the road.
Then I gotta hit the bank, because I gotta. I want some cash. That's another thing.
Okay, that was the question. Go ahead. You're going to answer the question.
I think I'm sure people in there, like, I don't try to carry a lot of cash, and that keeps the spending down. Because if they don't take a card, which honestly most of them do, at least in the orange hall. I won't say they all do, but a lot of them do, which is great, I think. But Ray, pay for it. Well, I would, but now I'm going to be broke after tomorrow. So I'm probably just going to take a few hundred out, because I know there's stuff I want from people that do not take card.
Yeah. Well, I just said to my son, I was like, damn it, I was supposed to go to the ATM today and I forgot. I got to go tomorrow.
Well, yeah, because then they do have ATMs there, but you're going to pay the fee. So that's why I want to try to stop at my own bank.
Yep.
Mike and Ray, we answered that.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another one below that. That was a good point. There you go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's just
comic shows for 40 years.
So when I buy it, yeah.
It's true. I agree.
So what I actually did was I went through and with my list, I actually wrote down what I was expecting to pay for certain things. And
That
then and like, you know, after researching it, like if I saw it online for this price or whatever,
Right.
and that way I was like, if I see it and it's less than this or at this price, I know that's reasonable.
That's very smart, actually. That's a great idea, and I should do that. I should add that to my list tonight.
Yeah, I have severe OCD, so like I think I overplan.
No, it's a good idea because if it's something rare, you probably just nab it. But if it's something that you've been seeing around, you know, you can kind of leave and try and find a better deal, I think.
Yeah, and there's certain things I'm thinking about too, like level of importance, right? Like there's locomotives or rolling stock that I've been searching for that I know are going to be hard to find.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
to your point, when you see it, I'm going to get it if the price is reasonable. But there's other things like I need some switch tracks because I potentially want to add another, like, you know, switch in here. And I'm like, if I see it for less than $100, then maybe it's worth it because you know, buying them new, it's $100. So if I can get it for $60 to $80, it may be worth it. But I'll search around. Like I'm not going to buy it at $80 the first person I see. I'm going to look for that guy who's selling it for like 50.
Right.
And for me, it's going to be a little bit awkward for me this year because I would write down a list of items that I would really want to get, but I don't want to be second guessing myself at the same time. So the only list that I have for the meantime is my parts list because I got a lot of post-war items. And, you know, once you have a big of a post-war collection like I do, you realize that there's going to be a couple of parts and components that are going to need to be replaced over time.
Right.
So that's kind of like my main objective for the show. But as for some of the items that I might be interested in, I'm just kind of winging it as I go. So far, I think I only have like 2 items, well, actually 3 items that are on the top of my list, and they would actually have to be the 773 Hudson from 2000 from the Century Club. You know, if they still have it.
Right.
I mean, even if they do or they don't have it, you know, it's not really a big deal. It's not the end of the world. But I'm also trying to look for a set of Union Pacific passenger cars to go with my George W. Bush MTH Proto Sounds 3 locomotive. And then finally, just for nostalgia purposes, there's also a very rare MTH SpongeBob SquarePants aquarium car that I'm really interested
in. Very nice.
Because if you guys are like me, I'm like a really big fan of animation. I know sometimes, you know, people kind of take animation, you know, they kind of take it for granted. But, you know, I just feel like that, you know, animated shows like SpongeBob or Looney Tunes. Or,
so are you getting the Looney Tunes Lion Chief set that was in Volume 2?
I wish I could, but I don't think I might be getting it anytime soon. But I really do love the fact that they have the little damaged little shape of Wile E. Coyote in front of the engine. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But like I said before, you know, animation, I feel like some people think is so underrated. I just feel like it doesn't really get a whole lot of credit like it should today.
Yeah. So Mike, by the way, I know I saw it, so I just double checked. There are 2 or 3 of those 773 Century Clubs on trains.com. So if you don't see it at the show, you just got to go there.
Yeah, hopefully they won't be sold out by then.
Yeah.
But I actually do have a 773 Hudson in my collection. Now, this is actually the version from 2005. It's a very beautiful piece, but what really sucks about this engine is that it's kind of taken its toll. You know, it's got like a little marker light that's kind of bent, and the sound system, I can't really no longer replace it because Lionel doesn't really provide the sound system for it anymore.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay.
So Ray, as you said that, like, it's interesting. As I've moved from like post-war stuff to more modern stuff, I've actually realized you're better off spending a little bit more money and getting something in the last few years, as opposed to like potentially like TMCC or a little bit older. Personally, what I've maybe not TMCC, but the just watching how far back you go, because to Mike's point, right? Like if something breaks, if it's in the last few years, you can actually get parts for it.
Yeah.
Versus if it's older than that, like you're screwed. And some of this new stuff is not like the post-war stuff where like you just throw a little bit of solder on it and the thing runs, right? Like
Exactly.
You know, so that's the one thing I've noticed, which is unfortunately means you're spending a little bit more to get something, to your point, even newer, right?
Plus, you always got to be careful on what type of material it's made out of. because you know society today, you know, a lot of our parts and components, not just for model railroading, but everything is kind of be mostly it's mostly being made in China today, and you know it's not exactly the same like it used to be when everything was made or manufactured around the United States of America back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So one of the other questions I had on my list, which I think is a good point to ask right now, which is this is the stupidest question I threw on our list, by the way. So just so you guys know, for everybody else who's on in the comments, I wrote down a list of everything that was in my head. And I sent it off to these guys and was like, here's what I've started off with, and then let's add to it and go from there. And all right, you're buying stuff. Do you carry it around or do you run it all back out to your car?
I let me go first because I bought the ridiculous Menards power plant.
Oh boy.
Last York, or what was March, April, whatever it was in April.
Right.
I'm very jealous right now.
And I had to just get it out of there. It was just a beeline to my car, and it was a trek. But everyone was staring at me walking out. It was very embarrassing, but I didn't care. It was hilarious, and I just beeline to the car. It's tough because you're going to be walking around with these giant boxes.
Yeah.
Park as close to the orange hall as you can. That's my advice. That's what I'm going to do this time.
Okay. That's a good idea. That's good. And I was going to grab I don't know, like one of those big, now they make us buy our old shopping bags, like get one of those the biggest one I have and like bring that with me to throw stuff in.
The same thing too.
I will say, Art, since you're a first timer, do you have your little name thing, right? I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a badge holder, because those older ladies, let me tell you, it's like a bank vault. If you don't have, they turned me away because I didn't have a badge holder.
Wait.
I'm new to the
I'm not getting. So I'm not walking over to the Silver Hall, at least not right away, to get one of the York ones. I just have like something from work. I was going to shove it in.
And that's what I had it, but I left it in my car. So I ended up having to walk back to my car to get it.
Okay.
I was like, I have my name. No, they are serious about you having that name tag shown at all times in any entrance. Make sure you have it.
All right. I got to go.
Will be like, you ain't getting in.
What if it was like a little clip on? Would they still let you in with that?
Yes, they would let you in with that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got to fold the card a little bit, but I have something that'll shove in that goes around my neck, and that was it.
Okay, you're good then.
Yeah, that's
what I'll just hold it for now. She's like, no. I'm like, okay, thanks.
I actually got two. As a matter of fact, I actually have two badges. I have the one which I always wear to the show, which always goes around my neck. But I also have another one which I tend to wear whenever me and my dad go up to the Seaside Model Railroaders Club on the weekends, which I kind of clip to the side of my pants. So
nice.
I don't know about clipping it on my shirt.
I'm gonna buy it this time. I gotta
buy it. Yeah,
I'm just gonna buy it.
I'm gonna get it too, but I figured like I want to head in that direction. So one of the things I need to get is a transformer, and I was going to go to like some of the member halls because I remember watching a video from Sean's Train Depot, where he was saying somebody sells refurbished transformers in one of the member halls. So I was going to head over there. So I thought I'd buy a holder at one of the points when I'm like walking that way.
What's going on, Ed?
There you go.
All right, so we heard what Mike threw out an engine. We heard me with my list on my YouTube channel. Right? So Art, you got throw something.
Wait, should I pull up my list now? It's really too long. That's the problem. Now there are a couple things that I'm looking for. I am looking for a Camelback. So I know Mike. I think it was.
Oh, wait, I can show something. What kind of Camelback are you looking for?
I can show you mine too.
All right, here it is. Here's the
AC. That's so the one I was really interested in that catalog was the Erie, right? The Erie.
This blue.
Yeah, but they screwed up the blue. That came out really nice. That did come out really nice. Yeah, Mike, you got the New Jersey one, right?
Blue.
This is the Jersey Central Camelback.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
very
looking
cool.
for a Jersey one. I'm looking for a Jersey one is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if not that, I'm going to break my rule I said before about buying a more modern engine, and I'm looking for another Lion Master, potentially like a what do they have? The S2, Class A, something like that.
Yeah. All right.
Very
That's
cool.
good.
Not that I have room to put it anywhere, but
Well,
Just-
yeah, I'm already out of room.
I'm like, even with all this shed space over here, I'm like, I'll have to sell. I may have to actually sell something.
When do you guys see my closet? I mean, it is like
So-
almost like there's almost like no space left. But I
I
always
have a closet at the end of the table that I've thought about doing that with, but I'm like, if I keep putting stuff like into closets and in that corner, it's like a pain in the neck to get to. I never put it on the table.
I always try to find a loophole on trying to make some more space for more boxes though.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I have no space under my table because, like I keep showing you guys, like there's another layout under my top layout. I have another layout, so I can't put boxes under there.
Oh, Brandon.
Hey, Brendan. So yeah, like that's the one thing that's always been a premium for me is my bedroom closet shoved with boxes. My wife must be going nuts, but the guest room closet, she doesn't know, has a couple of boxes in it too.
That's the same with me. There's boxes everywhere that she just doesn't open these doors, thank God. And if she did, it would be like the cartoon where they just fall on her. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, what did I have, Mike? I don't have my list open. What else did I have on? Oh, you know what? I'm going to mention this though. The one other thing that's on my list is I want to head to Mr. Muffin. Right, he's got an unmarked one of those new MTH cabooses, unmarked.
Yes.
That I was gonna pick up one of those because those first of all those cabooses look awesome, but then second, like that'll be great because then you can kind of run it with any train, and I'm short a caboose on my layout, so I was thinking about grabbing one of those.
wait, I did something very stupid last night. I have to say this.
Like
So we're all about to go to York, right? So who's gonna buy anything now? I put Ben's Trains is showing off the pink TTX.
Oh, I got one of those.
Cars. And he keeps pushing. He's like, "There's only 2 left. There's 1 left. Go on and get." So what did I ordered one. I had to do it. I ordered one from Train World last night.
So it's another box car or the intermodal?
It's just the intermodal. They don't even have the containers. You got to buy that separately.
Yeah.
So I flushed $100 on a pink empty well car just because I knew that was my only chance, or I'll never see those again. Or like he said, they'll be on eBay. We will miss you. Who's that? Oh, it's my wife. That's my wife, Kane, talking.
you doing, Kane?
I don't know how she found us, but she did.
Well, wait. The best part is, did you see Atlas? Stackman had Atlas's new catalog. The fall catalog came out, and they're doing those high cube boxcars again. The one you just held up.
Catalog online. If you guys after this is over, you guys send me the link.
I don't know that it's out yet.
Okay.
I just saw it on Dackman's channel. But wait, the high cube boxcars, the one you just held up, I grabbed one of those a couple years ago off of a pre-order. 2025, they're coming back out. So they're in the catalog now. They're already scheduled for second quarter 2025.
Well,
like, what takes Atlas so long to put this stuff out?
So I'm gonna talk to the Atlas guys because I got 2 things I'm waiting. First of all, as far as rolling stock goes, I'm doing a very bad job of showing this. I want the yellow regular version of this. I need to find. That's like my number one.
All right, so their new catalog has 2 different versions of it in it, so you might want to take a look before you pick one.
And then I've already pre-ordered their Berwick. They already had other ones. I don't know if you remember. I got a Conrail one that's pre-ordered.
Yep.
Then I got that red and excuse me. It's black and white with like some rainbow. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's a UP one.
I haven't seen that one.
And yeah, I got that. So Atlas is killing it with their rolling stock. Yeah, and then they're making Metro North Comet cars. The Metro North Comet. I'm not saying it right. The Metro North Comet cars that are on all the commuter trains in New York. They were in the catalog in 2020, have still not come out yet. So supposedly they're going to be here by Christmas. I don't know. I'm going to flat out ask the Atlas guys because
Wait, so those cars are the ones without, they have the engines in them. They don't need an engine on the front.
no. So they're just like, oh God. They almost look like the Amtrak Am fleets, but they're not quite.
Okay, because didn't
like
they
that.
just come out with the Atlas? They had all the different engines, and they had the Metro North engine in that too.
They
had a New
did.
Jersey. They had a New Jersey Transit too.
Right. I was going to say it was New Jersey Transit, where I
Okay.
think they actually released the cars for New Jersey Transit. So I want those cars, but with the Metro North blue stripe, not the black from Jersey.
So that's one of the things that's on my. If I see it and it's at a decent price, I might try to get is the Metro North, the Lionel Metro North.
I know. Then she just heard about me buying the. She heard about me buying the.
So I did not send the link to my wife. She knows I'm doing this, but I didn't.
Whoops. Well.
She's busy doing Halloween. All right, Mike, what else did we miss on the questions? Anybody, and you guys in the comments, any other questions or any other hints for York you have? Share them for everybody.
Well, I actually did have a question for you guys since we're on the topic of Atlas here. Considering that both MTH and Atlas are going to be doing a joint partnership now, what's your guys' thoughts on the whole scenario as a whole?
Yeah, there was a lot of people talking about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was like a big topic. I don't know. I'm all for it personally, but I don't know what you guys think. I don't think it's a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't know that you're going to see much of a difference than what happens today, other than you may see things like MTH put out an engine and Atlas do the rolling stock to match it, or vice versa. But somebody online, I don't know how true it was, but somebody online was like, it's them testing the waters for a merger, which may be true.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That could be.
I really like what MTH has done though, right? Like they've moved to this like very agile like model, right? Where they for example, this was a custom run. They announced in January, delivered in June, right? Like how often does that? And then they did a bunch of them, right? Like, and it's like, how often has Lionel ever put something in the Volume 1 catalog and delivered it that early that year, right?
Well, this year that's been happening though.
What did they have in the Volume 1 catalog that came already?
The Camelbacks.
Oh, the Camelbacks were this year. That's right. They were that's right. Because they were 2 years.
And then others, like stuff was coming. And of course, everyone's like, oh, this never happens. And I'm like, oh, great. The first time I'm in here.
Well, it hasn't happened. Think about this. It was COVID that slowed everything down, right? So I guess they're slowly catching back up is the point.
Well, so as far as that Camelback goes, like I was expecting Christmas, which I could handle it pretty much. And then Joe at Gersbowski's at the end of, it was like August 20th. And he's like, yeah, your Camelback's going to be here in like a couple of days. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, and Chris over at Chris Trains and Things already did his review on his New York Central Camelback.
That's right, the red one, right? The custom.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome.
I was between this engine and that Camelback, and I decided to stay with this one.
So far, all the fantasy paint schemes that both Lionel and MTH had done over the past couple of years, I would say that New York Central one has to be my favorite.
I agree.
Yeah, agree. Although that new, what is it? What's the new orange one? The orange and silver one? Is it a B&O?
Oh, the
Chessie.
The Chessie.
The green bar.
Green bar.
Yes, that is. I didn't think it when I saw it in the catalog. I was like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't know. And then I've seen it in like real life, and I was like, wow, that is pretty nice.
Yeah, a lot of guys. I don't think the passenger cars have showed up yet, but the engine, a lot of people have made videos on that.
I noticed that Sean
that one's
on Train Depot was having a little bit of issues with his when he was running it on his layout.
Interesting. Okay.
Like even though it went through the switch, he I don't exactly remember what the problem was, but it was something where it was going through the switch and it wasn't like operating correctly for some reason.
Have you guys had any issues with brand new stuff? Because I made a video on my Conrail switcher where the what was going on with it? Oh, the smoke unit was super loud. Like it was this horrible piercing noise all the time. I didn't even know what it was. And then when you turn off the smoke unit from the app, it went away and the sound was fine. But so then I hadn't run it in a while. I tested it when I got it back, right, from Lionel, and I gave them like really high marks. I was like, it was fast. They fixed it. And the review went fine. But then the second time I ran it, the smoke wasn't coming out of the stack. It was filling in the cab, and I wasn't filming. And I was like, I wish I was filming this because it was like the guy was suffocating to death. The engineer.
I'm sure he was.
And I'm like, this poor guy, I'm like, he's gonna die. And I was like rushing to get my phone to try and film it. And then when I ran back in the room, whatever was blocked must have cleared, and it was like shooting out, and it was fine.
I sent this Art. I mentioned this to Art on one of my other live streams, but that's almost like being in a music Jamaican store.
Nice. Yeah, no, I haven't had anything. I thought I had an issue with my little 060T switcher. I thought I had like a chuff issue with that, but the more I kind of run it, it's so hard to hear. Like the whistle makes a great sound, but other than that, the rest of the sounds are basically, you can't hear them.
Which one did you get?
I got the New Haven. I got the
Lehigh Valley for.
Yeah, the Lehigh Valley was a nice one. What was the one that had like the red roof? Alaska. That was pretty cool. That had my eye for a little bit, but I try to stick to road names like New Haven, UP, and New York Central, or else my budget will go crazy. But yeah, I haven't. So other than that, I haven't had a problem. I had actually I don't know where the heck it is over my shoulder here. This guy. My New York Central consolidation, I had an issue where the whistle smoke wasn't working. And I noticed when I was doing work on one of the tracks that I noticed that I was using the little gauges on my ZWL and setting it to 18, thinking that was putting 18 volts to the track. And when I actually checked the track with a voltmeter, it was putting like 16.9 or something like that.
Right.
So then when I pushed the handle all the way and got it up closer to 18, then the whistle smoke started working.
Okay.
So in fact, I had a return label and everything and didn't end up having to send it back.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Actually, this guy, I have all sorts of videos. This is my third version of this. I went through 3 of those with Train World.
I think the 773 that I have here, if I do get another 773, but from the Century Club, series, like I mentioned, I think that will probably be my third Hudson that I ever collected in history.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned getting parts for this stuff. Where do you get your parts? Is that in the Orange Hall as well? Are there parts dealers there?
Yes.
Because I do need traction tires and stuff like that.
Yes. MTH is also going to be having their parts booth in the Orange Hall as well.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. I was kind of like trying to figure out if it was MTH, somebody just selling a bunch of MTH parts, or if it was actually
them. Have you looked at the map on the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't plan out a route though, if that's what you're asking.
No, no, it's impossible. It's so big when you get in there. It's.
I mean, there's also going to be a couple of other halls that are going to be having like parts booths and such, junk boxes. But mostly every other parts vendor is going to be mostly set up in the Orange Hall.
Look at the last comment that just popped up.
Look like a young John Travolta. I have heard that actually. I'll take it.
Now I see it. Now I'm not going to be able to
do worse.
I can kind of see it.
You could do worse. Nice. All right. What else? What other questions are like hints? We didn't get anything from the comments, guys. Come on. Somebody in the comments says it's got something good.
Get those questions ready, guys.
Yeah, the damn green marker jewels. That's a good point. Yep. I've definitely seen a bunch of those missing in post-war stuff. What other, like, is it on the list you have printed out? Was there anything we missed?
Well, you did ask me one about the test benches.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's one I really, that was like my first, and that's one I had like top of mind from Ray's video.
Yes, my famous video.
All right, so for everybody on the comments, everybody watching, yes, it's Grease, exactly. He does look like Grease. The question I asked Mike and Ray was, one of the live streams, I think, Mike, you and I had done a while back. Somebody mentioned when you go to York, find the test tracks, test everything. How does that work? How do you find test tracks? Like, has anybody done it? And like, what do you do?
So, to the best of my memory, the one hall that I can think of that has pretty noticeable, test benches is the red hall, because right when you walk into the building, they'll be on the left side of the wall, on the back side of the wall when you first walk in. If you are really planning to buy something that you really do admire, make sure to test it out first before you buy it to see if it works. Because if it doesn't, then you probably might just pass on it, and you'll just end up finding something else. But like I mentioned, the red hall is very easy to find a test bench, and I believe the silver, maybe not the silver, I think it might be the blue hall. You actually have to walk up just a little bit, and then the test bench in that area is a little bit more towards the left side. It's a little hard to track down at first, but make sure to, it's like a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hidden on the left side, all the way on the other ends of the room that it's located in.
Yeah. All right. So there's a good question that just popped up. But all right. So what do you do though? Like, all right, you're in the middle of trying to buy an engine from a guy. Do you like leave your wallet and then like go and test it and come back with the engine? Like, how do you, or they walk with you? Like,
that's a good. I have no idea, because we know I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I would never even do that myself, really. I mean,
Yeah, that was the question I had. Like, how do you take that engine and go over there and test it?
I mean, they'll let you take it. They'll definitely let you take the engine over there to test it out. It's like you're not gonna like leave with it immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I did read somewhere that every hall does have a test track.
Yes.
So they're all there. And I guess there was a video last year, I think RBP did, right, where he gave away that triplex. He went into the test track, and I'm assuming that was the orange hall.
Oh yeah. And speaking of the triplex, I don't know if you guys have heard, but Lionel is definitely coming out with their new model of the Erie triplex. What is your facts? Well, not so much facts, but what is your opinions on the actual locomotive and the fantasy paint schemes that it's coming with? Because for me, I'm still kind of mixed when it comes to the fantasy paint schemes that are coming out. I mean, the only ones that I kind of do really like a little bit more than the others are the Northern Pacific and the Virginian, as well as some of the other Erie triplex fantasy paint schemes that they just announced.
Yeah. All right. So let's answer those questions, but then let's not forget we got just real quick on the test track. Somebody asked a question we'll go back to about budgeting, but David says there are test tracks in every hall. And then Dashing Dan's Trains was saying that Allentown, the seller, went with him to test the subway. Damn, a subway, man. If I see a subway there, a subway set, that's going to be the one thing that's going to blow my budget. Subway set or the MTA, the Metro North set. Okay. All right. So my take on this whole thing, Mike, I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, not interested. Like, not that I could ever afford a Vision Line engine. Well, I'm like, the triplex to me is not, even if I could run it, is not something I actually like am interested in at all.
Here's what I'll give them credit for, because I could never buy that. Just I never am going to be in my price range, right?
Neither could I.
Right. So, but here's what I'm going to give Lionel big time credit for. That's the first time they're doing the new, like they're still innovating, and I like that. Like, yes, they're charging $1 bajillion, but I don't know if you guys saw the video from the Ryan and Dave.
Yeah.
The wheel slip to me is awesome.
That is really cool.
Like,
that is very.
Look at all these engines we buy. It's like, what else can they do? They already have whistle steam. They already have the chuffing, the water thing on the side. It's like, well, no, they found another thing with the wheel slip. So to me, I'm a big fan of that, because it means they're still trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No,
since I never gonna afford it, I don't know. I wasn't
I
too
mean,
excited about it.
here's the thing. Like, all right, so let's go back. The question that was asked before was like, how do you guys budget for model trains for the year? There you go. Relegated to rescuing sad, abandoned post wars. So what I personally do is I have a separate bank account set up. Literally a separate bank account. It's free to set up. It's free to set it up. So I have a separate bank account, savings account set up. It's earning 4 point something percent interest nowadays, right? Which is a pretty good chunk of money.
Right.
And out of my paycheck every month, I sweep money into that account. And that is my budget. And what I do then is when I buy something, most of the time, obviously 99% of the time, I'm buying it on my credit card. As soon as I get home from like the train show, when I bought my big boy, it was X dollars. I came home, I moved the money out of my savings account into my checking account to pay my credit card bill when it came. And that's how I do it. But the other thing is I did a whole video on this where I bought a legacy engine really cheap off of trains.com. There's creative ways, right? Like, if you don't, everybody uses Google for search engine. If you use Bing, Bing actually has rewards that you can turn into gift cards. And I have, I'm going to make this up. I don't, 30, what do I have? I think I have like $50 right now in gift cards that I can redeem from searching using Bing.
Right.
And then what I do is like, granted, they're not going to be at trains.com and they're not going to be like a Visa gift card, but I can get like a Target gift card or an Amazon gift card that'll offset like normal things I would buy. And then I know I have that amount of cash to use for a train, or like credit card rewards, right? Like, Bank of America, American Express, whoever, right? You get credit card rewards. You can get cash, or you can actually use those to redeem for for gift cards again, and do that kind of stuff. Sometimes you got to watch the trade-in value on those aren't always great, but that's definitely ways that I budget. And somebody said it earlier. I think it was Ed who said it, and I know we've talked about it in some of the other live streams. Like, I find personally, keep yourself like focused on road names, and like everything looks awesome, and this is why I'm like absolutely panicked for Thursday, Friday. But like everything looks awesome, but you got to focus on like the road names you want and stay true to your list of like it made it to your list for a reason. Like, don't just go crazy and buy other stuff just because it looks nice.
That's my thing. Like, I'm a little, maybe not the best, because I kind of went crazy here.
You're all over the place lately. I feel like.
I went crazy since February to build this up. But I will say now, with like I said this when I got the Camelback, that's the first time where I ordered something from a catalog where they're coming in. So I feel the catalog is a good budget.
Yeah.
Like, I don't stray away from it. Like, whatever was in the volume 2 is kind of it for me. Like, I pre-ordered the F19.
Yeah.
And I pre-ordered the Conrail SD50.
That's a nice engine.
That's kind of it. I can't deviate. Like, I'm not going to New York looking to buy all these engines because I already got these other ones coming. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I can't deviate.
We actually, what is really interesting, because you make a great point, right? You pre-order and then you basically say, okay, it's $500. I've got 6 months before this thing comes.
Exactly.
But do you know, like, some of the other dealers or hobby shops that I've talked to will do a layaway with you. You just have to talk to them. So, like, I don't know about Grzyskowski's, but like I've talked to other places and they'll be like, you buy this from me, you give me $100 now or $50 now, and we work out a payment plan, and you give me your credit card and I'll charge you every month for this.
So I'll be honest.
Some of the older places that I used to go to, they always do layaway.
Right. And I think it's familiarity. Like, I don't talk about this in my videos, but I'll tell you guys because we're on the live stream and who cares, I guess. But like Joe Grzyskowski's, like if I couldn't pay for that Camelback, he'd still be holding it for me. You know what I mean? You would just, so that's something I don't have to worry about. I guess I'm fortunate with that. But yeah, if you have a good store, it certainly helps.
Yeah. Agree.
Especially if you're dealing with good people too.
Absolutely.
You have, sometimes you might go to these big shows and you realize, who exactly am I going to trust? Who am I not really too sure about? Or, who do I, align myself with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cloverdale Transit was asking, what are the routing numbers? Asking for a friend. All right, what did we miss here? If you
Mine's
get a
probably
good,
already changed because my wife just changed all the banking. So I don't even know it now.
all right, yeah, that's the one I was just reading. If you get a good, you can find some pretty good deals. MTH PS2 Crescent, Southern Crescent. Wow. All right, that's pretty good deal.
I've got a question. I've got one for you, both of you. Even no one in the comments probably cares about this, but we're all three of us are YouTubers, right? How much?
Yes.
Like, are you going in? So for me personally, I'm comfortable right here doing my little reviews and stuff. And I know Mike has done really good vlogs. I'm not only am I terrible at it, or I'm just not used to it. Like, I take 30 seconds of footage. So are you guys both gonna, like, how much footage are you gonna take? Are you gonna be vlogging it, or are you gonna take a lot of footage?
You can't use a camera, can you, inside the hall?
No, you can.
You can?
Yeah, I didn't have any problem last year in the Orange Hall.
Yeah.
Is there a rule?
Yeah, I think there's a rule you can't. Maybe the Orange Hall. The Orange Hall might be an exception. I think the member hall.
I did actually hear from Sean from Dakman's Productions, and he did say that they changed the rules slightly for this year. I think from what he mentioned, the only halls that you can actually take video in are the Orange Hall,
right,
the Purple Hall, and I believe the Black Hall.
Yeah.
That was good.
Everything else though is off limit stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So I will say this: there is no chance I may take some pictures, but I'm not going to do anything because because, dude, I'm already going to be overwhelmed. And could you imagine trying to carry a camera around and do all that? Like,
I had one of these. I'll tell you right now. Same thing happened to me. I went in with one of these, like, to hold. Didn't use it. Didn't touch it. I was too much.
Carried around in your hand the whole time.
I didn't really bother using my phone that much when me and my dad first came up there.
Yeah, so I don't see that I'm going to try and do more because last year I literally did nothing. I'm going to try and do more in the Orange Hall, but I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any. That's another thing. I'm very like, I'm not shy in front of the camera now, but, like, I don't know how Chris.
Yes, you feel weird,
Here
right?
we are, guys, at the.
And you feel weird looking at all the tables and holding the camera up. Like, I went to the Greenberg show in Edison here in September. I think it was September, maybe in August. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk row by row and do this. And I got through the first 2 rows, and all of a sudden, like, we were in row 5, and my son's like, what happened? You stopped videoing. And I'm like, I just got too busy looking at trains. Yeah. I couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, and I ran into Sean, Dakman Productions, at that show, and we were talking. He said he actually stays all day at the show in order to do the footage. Like, it's not like a go for 2 hours and you're done kind of thing.
I've got a funny story about Sean. He was the first YouTuber I met.
He's the first YouTuber I've met too.
It's unbelievable. I was on the first day of your class, or this in the spring, and I was walking to. It was like 30 minutes before doors opened, and Sean was sitting by himself by one of the food trucks having just lunch. And I looked at him and I recognized him, and I just, like, stood there and I didn't say a word. And he looked up from his food and he goes, "Raise trains." And I was like, I freaked out.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So he was very nice. That's the one thing. Everyone's super nice. I didn't have one bad encounter there. Everyone was great.
Yeah. No, that's fun. That's all right. Wait. Ed makes a great point here. A couple comments up. The model triplex runs faster than the real one actually did, and that's true. They were relegated. They were relegated to pushing, if I remember correctly, because they couldn't do.
Miles an hour. Wow.
Yeah.
So the wheel slip is accurate then.
The wheels, right? Because the tender would lose all its coal, and then when they used up the coal, it had no weight to it, so it wouldn't have any traction.
Art, you're gonna have to fight Corey for the subways because Corey's the subway man. So
that's right.
Yeah, well, like I said, that is on my impulse buy list, which is actually not even on the list. That's just like, if I see it for a good price, I'll pick it up. All right, somebody asked another question. Oh, Cloverdale Train said film stuff at a local channel last weekend. That was tough. I can't imagine. Yeah. like I said, I got through and there were a couple people at tables who kind of gave me a weird look. Like, what are you doing?
I think it's less, honestly. If they, and it should be, I'm not going to be some YouTuber like spokesperson, but they need to allow that. I'm sorry. For
I
the
think it
hobby to
was,
grow,
yeah.
they,
I
with
think it
you on
was
that
some of
one.
the older guys who had like
I
post-war
mean,
stuff.
like I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally agree with that.
and
Yeah,
I
totally
think
with the subway.
I think it's definitely more lax. I mean,
Yeah.
Subways, yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
Subway's in. All right, wait. So I want to go back to something somebody mentioned before. PS2. I'm not an MTH guy. This is my only. Well, that's true. I got two MTH engines, both PS3. What's the difference between PS2 and PS3? Is it as simple as like TMCC versus Legacy?
Not necessarily. I mean, PS2 has like a couple of features that you can, that you can activate with DCS, but with Proto Sounds 3, it feels like you really get a lot more better experience with the MTH locomotives that are coming out today that have PS3.
This is
Okay.
my only PS2 MTH locomotive, my little Amtrak switcher here.
How do you run that?
Okay, so don't laugh at me, but so this is a big problem for me as someone who's new. Let's be honest, the power options is in flux right now. I'm waiting for the base 3. I'm not going to spend money on other. I have my CW80 and that's all I've got. And
which they also they haven't even announced when, the base 3 is going to be coming out.
So they did say at the end of that triplex video, it's looking like it's going to ship in February.
Really?
End of February. Yeah, I know. 2 years. 2 years.
Like
and
February.
This coming February. And DCS, I pre-ordered the MTH WTIU because I was the same way. I'm like, I'm not going to buy an old one. I'll just pre-order the new one and wait it out.
Yeah.
And supposedly the MTH one is coming out in November.
That's pretty early.
Well, it's 2 years from the time they ordered it or announced it. So
I have out of all of us, I have the saddest control. But again, I need the base 3 to continue on with this. I'm not going back. Like, I'm not buying older technology for 2 months or 3 months.
A year ago, I picked up a TMCC off of Trains for $100.
Yeah.
And that's worth it. That was worth it.
I'm actually
need that remote too.
That's the remotes for my layout.
Yeah, and then I have the MTH thingy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
got my TMCC and I also got my DCS command system, which is
Yeah.
also what Art was showing earlier
Yeah.
before.
So if you can get one of these things are like $50 to $70.
Maybe I'll grab one while I'm there.
Yeah, $50 to $70. The only problem is it's a little IR, so it's a line of sight. That's
Yes.
it. So it's like it's on the front of my fascia, my layout, and I just have to be able to point at it. And it's like, but it works. So like that. And for if you have not pre-ordered the WTIU, you're probably not going to get it. It's going to be my guess. So if you want to do that in the short term, since you only have one engine anyway, it may be the way to go.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Actually, I'm writing that down right now.
Also, if I could just cut in real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're running, your MTH Proto Sounds 3 locomotives off the DCS Commander, you're not going to get a whole lot of the features that the full-on DCS system has.
Yeah.
But you're still going to get a pretty good amount of features like the horn, the bell, the crew talk, the PFA sound effect features. You're also going to get the uncoupler, and you're also going to get a pretty good volume control with this too.
Yeah. The one thing I would say is, well, I guess there's two things. And Mike, I know you did a whole review on this too, but there's two things to note. One, it won't work whistle steam or anything like that. So if you buy a new PS3 engine with whistle steam like this one, it won't work with that little remote. And then two, the engine has to be factory reset.
Yes.
Because it doesn't have a way to address the engine. It addresses the engine as number one, which is what they all come out of the factory as. Mm-hmm. So you and I did a whole video on this with this engine. I got this engine, Train World tested it for me, never factory reset it. I got it, I couldn't run it. I had to bring it to a friend's house who had a layout with a real DCS system, and they could reset it for me.
Corey just had a good comment, which I ran into with this. He said the PS2 has a battery. So this was brand new, even though this is very old. So when I put this on my track, it didn't run. and I guess MTH made a little power pack. They don't anymore. They don't make it anymore. But Joe had one, and he let me borrow it. I don't know if you guys can see this hole here, and it was like a charger. And I charged the battery for 24 hours, and then it worked fine, and it's worked fine ever since.
I have heard that. Yeah, right. And then I think it charges as you run it. Then,
yes, that's what he said. He said once it just needs that first one, and then you'll be good after that. But
that's great. Yeah, they sold it was a is that the BCR? Is that what that's called?
And it was tough because there's no like light that turns on. I'm like, is this working? I have no idea. And I just left it overnight, and it worked. So go back, Art, and watch this Amtrak video of mine.
Okay,
I'm still on the floor. I didn't even have a table yet.
I think I know. I think I already know what I'm going to be watching tomorrow morning when I'm having breakfast.
You getting a power adapter out and plugging in your train. So what are you doing with your electric train? Well, I'm charging my electric train.
I'm charging it, right? But that's the thing about a great store, because you guys know I'm totally new to this. I had no idea. Joe from Grabowski's knew instantly. He's like, next time you come in, I'll let you borrow this. And instantly, like, he knew exactly what the problem was.
Yep, BCR. Okay, PCR replaces the battery. There you go. So wait a minute. How close are you to Grabowski's? Like, you talk about them like you go in there once a week.
I'm a dangerous 25 minutes away.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
It's not good. I haven't been in like 3 weeks, which is maybe the longest since I started in the hobby, since February. Because I knew York, I was like, I can't go there. Even though now I'm ordering from Train World last night.
So luckily for me, I'm about an hour from Mike knows this store, Mountain Lakes. There's the train station in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, and about an hour from Trains and Things in Ewing, New Jersey. Okay. So those are like my two closest, but I did find over the summer, Train Doctor is in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, which is about 25 minutes from me. Same thing, but they're like a little bit smaller of a store, and they deal with more like used collections and things like that. But
from what I also heard, they're going to be at the show as well this weekend.
Oh, are they? All right, cool. I have to check that out.
As well as the trains,
Trains and Things is definitely
the train station from Mountain Lakes. Like
train station. I did see they have like a bunch of tables. I saw that in like the table section. They have a big like row of tables. I think if you were to talk about like where's my first place to walk in the door, I think Trains and Things is probably going to be first on my list where I head.
There you go.
Unless I run into one of you two first. That'll probably be it. Cool. All right, wait. Food. You mentioned the food truck. Bring food or buy food? What did you do?
I just bought. It's pretty expensive out of those.
It's like going to a game.
Yeah, it's like going to Yankee Stadium, or City in Michael's case. But
that's right.
Yeah, I'm a Met fan too. My banner's over there. My banner's over there.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
wow.
not to call any Yankee fans out or anything, but Yankee Stadium today doesn't really feel like an actual like fun type of baseball stadium to be at. Like it's just very
bland, very
bland. Yes, that's the word I was thinking.
Almost like business-like. Like there's not a lot. I know exactly what you mean. As someone who's.
And then meanwhile with Citi Field,
I never understood that. I never understood. I was like, given all the history, how can you knock down Yankee Stadium? Like, I never, as a Met fan, I just couldn't. And my brother was a big Yankee fan.
Yankee Stadium and Shea were, I mean, they were pretty close at that point.
Yeah, I would have kept Shea around, but then again, I'm also a Mets. I'm a Met and Jet fan. I grew up going to Shea Stadium like crazy, but. Like you could have done something with old Yankee Stadium where you like what they did in Chicago, right? Like rip out the interior, leave the facade, and build a whole.
I agree with you. But you got to remember that they were building it as the other. Like there's no way to do that in a winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but go play somewhere else for a season.
I don't know.
I mean, it's what they did in Chicago, right? They went and played at a college.
I don't know if Hal would have or George at the time would have been into that.
Yeah, like, no, we wouldn't have gone for that.
Right. But I agree with you. You could have. It would have been better that way. Like we would have been better off now. But that would have been hard. I mean, they were building.
I have heard. I've been to Citi Field a few times. I have not been to the new Yankee Stadium, but I have heard like it's a it's night
I
and
didn't
day.
know I was outnumbered on this live stream tonight. Wow, 2-1.
I guess that makes you a lucky one here.
No, Corey's a Yankee fan. I got Corey on my side.
Look, none of us are in the playoffs. None of us are in
That's
the
true.
championship.
What can we say? It was bad.
Exactly. The only thing that's killing me is the Phillies are up 2-0 now, and I'm like, oh, come on, Arizona. At least you
Oh,
got
and Chris's Trains and Things is a big. He was going to the games.
Yes.
I saw on Instagram. He was. I asked him, and he said, "Yeah, he went to game 1, I think."
And not to forget that there's still a little bit of a controversy out there that they're starting to slowly change the rules of baseball from what it used to be.
That's right. This whole year was totally different.
Yeah.
With new stuff they put in.
Yeah. I can't stand the pitch clock and the bases. And the thing that kills me the most is you can only throw over to first base twice. Like,
that's right. Then you get they take your base after that, right? It's different. Yeah. Totally different then.
Cool. What else do we got in the comments here? We talked about the BCR one, subways. Anything else you guys got? Let's see. I don't know. I think that was all the questions off the list. What else do you guys have?
I wanted to ask if you guys were going to vlog. We talked about that. We talked about what we want or what we're looking for.
So I do remember you asking about what is the balance of the items for sale? Is it mostly trains, accessories, or layouts and such? I mean, they do actually have a specific hall for the train layouts, but for the Orange Hall, there's only maybe 2 or 3 layout displays.
Yep.
All the other train layouts are in a separate hall.
So the question I was actually, that's that I got, but I guess the question more importantly was, besides trains, I'm looking for some accessories and some detail items for the layout. Is it all engines and some rolling stock and then no?
Of course
no. You're gonna see an insane.
All the videos, by the way, all the videos you see just show the engines, right?
That's
nobody
true.
shows anything else.
There's crazy stuff with buildings and scenery. It's insane the amount of you're gonna. It's just it's a lot.
Okay.
Custom buildings. I mean, there's stuff my wife really likes. The only thing I'm gonna get her to be into is there was a whole table of just Halloween buildings. There was full on haunted houses with stuff flying around it, and it was just crazy stuff people have there.
Almost like the Limex buildings.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Wait, did you say, Ray, you brought your wife in April when you went?
No. So she was supposed to come with me. She actually broke her ankle, and she didn't go. She's coming on Friday, so I'm bailing on her tomorrow, right? But Friday she's driving down herself, and
wow,
we're gonna I guess have dinner at. I'm staying at the Yorktown, the hotel kind of right down the road, and we're gonna have dinner, and then I'm gonna bring her on Saturday, so she'll be around on Saturday with me to see it.
Nice. Yeah, I couldn't spring the hotel. That was the tough part, because I was I would have loved to have gone out on Thursday and stayed the night on Thursday night.
Okay, so I'll say one more thing. So this is what I wasn't expecting, because I was alone last time, right? And I actually ended up meeting a couple of guys at the hotel bar. This is Friday night, right? He kept buying me drink. I was done for. I was toast, and I almost missed the following morning. I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, it's almost over. I basically ran in and got to the YouTube meet and greet, and I was not doing it. So I'm gonna try and not do that this time around.
Nice.
But so wait, are you guys going to the YouTube meet and greet on Saturday?
No, because I'm only coming out on Friday. That's it for me. Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for me to go up to the meet and greet with the rest of you guys because, like I mentioned, not only do me and my folks live 2 hours and 45 minutes away from York, but, we got 2 dogs at home.
Right.
Got a lot of responsibilities back there. So it's going to be, a really big challenge to try to balance that out.
Yeah.
All right. You're missing the comment. So we got Radar is saying he's a big Philly boy. Turned 70 in December. There you go. All right. Then Cloverdale chimed in. All right. What's on your list? What's not on your list that you'll buy if you see it? Expensive food truck, avocado toast doesn't count. All right. So for me, I think I've already said it, right? Like it's probably the Subway or the Metro North set. I'm just hoping that if I can get the Metro North set, my fingers crossed that it's an old conventional set, but I think it has DC CAN motors that I can then get a ERR board into and convert it over to TMCC. That's my plan.
Very nice.
I think I'm going to try and stick to the list, honestly. Maybe I would say scenery. I didn't put any scenery on my list, but that's something I would probably buy.
Yeah.
Or just layout accessories.
Yeah, like that's a good point. I should measure out a couple of spots on my layout just in case like I see something, be like, oh, will this fit? Because there's definitely like a house or two I was thinking about replacing.
Well, I will say though, in that art, it won't matter. You'll make it fit. If you see something you really like, it works. Like even last night, I was like, I don't have room for the Taco Bell and the Arby's, and I'm like, no.
Did you
But
make
we
really
don't need that siding over here. We can squeeze the RPs in right there.
And
Nice.
then
I mean,
for me,
you did one pop-up. You did one pop-up, so now you can just carry the table all the way to the other wall and put another pop-up in. You'll have more room.
Wait, Mike, what is not on your list?
Well, I was just about to say, even though these two items aren't really on my list, if I did have to collect two more like scenery type accessories, I would probably get the new traffic lights from Woodland Scenics, where the lights start, blinking and such. And then my second accessory that I would probably have to go with is the little coffee shack from Menards, where the smoke unit starts where the smoke starts to come out of the chimney.
That's really cool.
And if I did have a little spot for it, it would probably go right over here next to where the bank scene is.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, you got room there. You got room.
There's plenty of room there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just this pretty big, bland, empty space, which isn't really that exciting, to be honest with you. But if I did eventually track it down at the show, I would definitely get it and put it on the layout there.
That'd be cool. So, Sean from Dackman commented on my video last night, and he said there is a guy there in the Orange Hall selling Menards buildings, like last year.
That's going to be a tough one.
What do you guys think of that set that came out from Menards?
To be honest, it's not a bad set, but I mean, it's like I said, it's not a terrible set, but if I was actually one of the employees working at Menards, I would actually swap out the caboose for the dummy unit instead, so that way it feels
totally
more complete. I mean, with the caboose that it comes with, it's not terrible. I know I said the set isn't terrible, but the caboose is not terrible either. It just, the scale of it just doesn't really complement the engine too well, if you know what I'm saying.
I totally agree. I think that if they included the dummy, because that went fast when they just sold them separately, the beta.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had included the dummy with it. That would have been better.
Yeah. I'm guessing more's coming, right? More's coming.
More's coming anyway, so
they're gonna figure it out before Christmas. I agree. You'll see the AB. You'll probably see the AB, some cars, and a caboose. Like I bet you before Christmas you see all that. They're probably just thinking it through right now.
Yeah.
Right. And besides, the caboose that it actually comes with, just by looking at it, you could tell it's basically a reproduction of the old Marx train cabooses that were made in like the 50s and 60s and such.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I said, not a bad caboose, but I would actually prefer it a lot more if it actually went with a train set that actually complement the scale of the actual size of the caboose.
I agree.
Yeah. I have to say, I've bought some Menards stuff. So it's funny you bring up the Woodland Scenics traffic lights. So I have the MTH traffic lights, but I bought the little Menards light up trucks, and I had 6 of them on my layout at one point. All of them have burnt out, except for one.
Wow.
All of them have burnt out except for one. And I used the Menards power supply.
Right.
And the only thing I did was I cut the wire so that I could fish it through the table rather than drill a giant hole to put that little plug through the table. And then I reconnected it under the table. So I didn't do anything crazy. and they all burnt out. And they're LEDs. I mean, like, you know, and you're using the power supply they gave you. So and the rolling stock, I don't know, like I like the set. I think everything they've done is really great for the hobby because they're hitting that low price point and they've got a big audience. They're getting people involved. But the only thing I've really thought was worth it were like their flat cars and their like military loads and things like that. And I think I haven't seen their auto racks and their intermodals and things, well cars, but those look good. But some of their rolling stock, like the box cars, where is it here? I have one of their, if I can get it out here with not knocking stuff over, one of their coal hoppers. I mean, it's kind of cheap and it wobbles a little bit on the track and it's small. Great stuff, like, you know, just to fill in, but not, you know, great stuff for fun and stuff like that, but not like the quality.
Right.
No,
I mean,
agree.
it's more or less a reproduction of the original Lionel hoppers from back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, but I do think it's interesting though, because then like you switch to their military stuff or those auto carriers they put out, and like some of that stuff has a lot of detail and a lot of quality to it. It's interesting.
I agree. I was I wasn't getting into, because I want my hands on that engine. Like the caboose, like Mike said, I don't know, whatever. And the track is what I wouldn't even use it.
Yeah, but then you're going to have a third control system to run.
That's true. That's true. But I was kind of I don't like to say I was getting into it with the guy, because this guy Jeremy, who I'm friends with, he makes cool videos. I think his channel is called Jeremy Too Many Hobbies Jeremy, because he has too many hobbies. But he did a really. He's the only one that I saw really do a serious review on the Union Pacific set, and I agree with everything you guys said, but you know, if you don't give in the rebate, it's what was it, $250? So I said, well, I was like, but you know, at Gersbowski's, not plugging them, but you could get a Lion Chief set for like $319. So the bang for your buck on that Lion Chief set is way better than the
one on that,
than the Menards set. And then a guy was like, oh, you can't. The guy was like, you can't find a Lion Chief set for $319. And then I linked Gersbowski's Lion Chief sets. There were like 8 of them for that. And I was like, yeah, you're wrong. But but yeah, so just to me, for the extra, what is that? Extra 50, 60, $70.
I agree.
I think you get a more proven system in Lion Chief. You get the track seemed a little flimsy. Like he was having trouble snapping it together, even to the point where the only way it snapped together was the power ended up being on the inside loop, and he had to put it under.
I didn't realize it came with. Oh yes, I did see that. It comes with track. You're right.
Yeah,
what's interesting is, by the way, it's tube track, Menards tube track, but they give you a barrel jack to hook a. Is that a DC board that they're using?
That I don't know.
I wonder if that's a DC power wart they're using, like the Lion Chief sets do.
No, they also now have the adapters, which you can actually connect with each other to run it off of Lionel Fast Track too.
Oh, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have seen that, because I did look at Menards track as one of the things I was going to put in my shed, and then I ended up. But yeah, that's interesting. That's a really good point about the Lion Chief set.
I do want one, but it was a little But I think, like you said, more's coming, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and you have to watch, right? They'll run a deal. They do it every year. They'll run a deal closer to Christmas where you'll get like a free car, or a free light up car, or a free whatever if you buy X dollars or certain things. So that may even be like hang on another month, that and get something else with it.
I wish they would give us one. Us three, we can only get it online. I mean, give me one within an hour at least.
Show me the money.
All right.
Or in this case, show me the train.
Right. Show me the train.
I couldn't really think of a better term to use, though. Now, out of all the games that they came out with, between the classic red bonnet, the blue bonnet, and the Union Pacific, which of the three do you guys consider to be the best?
I like the blue the best. That was just me.
I think the blue came out the best. I do. Yeah. The yellow was interesting, but I think there were some things like that were just a little odd with like the flag and stuff like that.
And speaking of which, I know that Datafied is somewhere in the comments here, but I think I remember him mentioning in one of his videos that the flag wasn't exactly accurate.
Okay.
When it comes to the timing, the time period, that they kind of chose for the locomotive, if you kind of catch my drift.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, wait, we have some things in there. What is Ed saying? Couldn't afford Fast Track or Gargrave, so I went Menards. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the whole point, right? Like, their stuff is totally affordable.
Yeah.
Who is it? D.A. Griffin Hobby. His whole layout is Menards track. Right?
Oh, yeah. Speaking
and
of, since we're actually on the topic of Dave's channel, did you guys see that video where somebody sent him, I think it was Frank, but he actually sent him the Menards lift bridge, not an operating lift bridge, but the Menards,
yes, I didn't see the video. I didn't see the video, but I saw his last layout update where he's talking about adding more to it, and he showed the bridge in the background. And I was wondering where that came from.
That is such a cool bridge, like hands down. I mean, it gives you that old nostalgic vibe of the older Lionel lift bridge. Even though it doesn't operate, it's still a very beautiful bridge.
Yeah. All right. So Cloverdale said it. The Menards cards all burn out. The Woodland Scenics ones are older and still working fine. So that's what I did is I started replacing my Menards ones slowly with Woodland Scenics ones. They're a little more expensive, but I have seen the quality. And what I love is you can change the brightness with their little adapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike, I did reach out to Dave about that scout set that I texted you about. And I'm gonna meet him on Friday and give it to him. He wants it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Dave was actually one of the first YouTube guys that I ran into when me and my dad went up to York for the first time. Like, we were in one of the halls, and all of a sudden I hear somebody call my name, and here he is standing right in front of me. I'm like, "Oh, hey Dave, how's it going?" I was like, finally nice to meet you in person. Like, it's just so like unbelievable when you meet somebody for the first time that you really admire from the videos.
Yeah.
It's so like inside my head, I'm like thinking to myself, it's funny how memories can play tricks on a person, because usually if you're watching somebody online, you're usually like about this big or maybe that big.
Right.
Like, it's just so incredible. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's like, it's literally one of the best things that you can ever like experience.
Yeah. And it's funny, right? Like, I know my kids are all over YouTube and they're like, Dad, I'm like watching this guy and they talk about meeting this guy someday. And I'm like, how many followers? And they'd be like, oh, he has like, just 3 million followers or something like that. And meanwhile, we're like, hey, that guy's got 20,000 people. Let's go find that guy.
Well, same thing with what Mike just said. When I met, I said I met Dak and Sean first, but then I met Chris from Chris's Trains and Things second. And I was just like a regular dude. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
I met Chris at the show too.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, wait, let's see.
Really
Datafied jumped in.
I really comment on their videos all the time whenever they're on.
Yeah. All right, so Menards has proven that you can make an engine cheaper than a Lion Chief, but I don't know that I'd want to go that cheap. Yeah, I agree. But then again, are we the target? Probably not.
No, not for buying. Like I said, I would like one, but I'm not going to be buying all their runs that they make.
Yeah. And then Ed said it though, like, their structures are really nice. Like, I actually considered their engine shed for my yard over here. And I have heard, I don't know how true this is, but I have heard that their buildings are made in the same place that Woodland Scenics, the same factory or whatever.
Really?
Woodland Scenics does their stuff.
I will say, I love, because they're so affordable and they're so detailed. I never say a bad thing about them. But I will say some of my stickers on the power plant and the Amtrak are like folding up already.
Yeah, but all right, that I'm okay with. Like, for the price, like, just for a little,
totally. Yeah. Like I said, for the price, I don't. You're not. That's totally fine with me. A little glue and the stick on anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, all right. Yep, they have more. Yeah, Datafied's got 4 of the structures. Yep.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm looking for the Taco Bell, and I'm looking for Man, that Tide Factory is awesome, but it's so big. I don't see that happening here.
Is that the one that's the same size as like the Door Factory and like it's
Yeah.
one kind of model? I know. I've been like, wait, can I stick that in way back there? And I measured and been like, not even close.
You know what I saw at? I went to Legacy Station for the first time. I went to Atlanta last month, and they had a lot of Game of Thrones structures.
Yes.
And I like
Cool.
I mean, it's not like my favorite show, but I like the show. And I was like, can I fit Castle Black on here? Like, that wouldn't even make sense, but it would look so awesome.
I can't even like tell you guys how many times I heard a lot of great things about Game of Thrones when I was still in high school. I mean, my friends wouldn't really talk about it that much, but whenever some of the teachers would be having lunch next to us, they would like have like conversations about that show almost every single day.
Yeah. I kept HBO or signed up for HBO just to finish watching it, and then I canceled HBO.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, and I also did hear that there might be a little bit of an increase when it comes to the price if you're a subscriber to Netflix.
Yeah.
So just to warn some of you guys out there, if you do have Netflix, just be warned that you might have to pay a little bit more this time. So make sure to spend your money wisely.
All right, let's see what Ed said here. I have the
Corey has the Amtrak and the Starbucks. Nice.
Oh, that's the Amtrak station, right? Is that what that is?
I got it right here. I can grab because nothing's connected for me right now because I'm just waiting to. But yeah, I could show you the Amtrak station. Actually, I had a viewer send me this, which was shocking and amazing. But
that's probably one of my favorite structures that they ever made in their inventory so far.
That is nice. That is nice.
I really love the detail.
I gotta clean some of this up here back here. Actually, no, the stickers are. Maybe I just made that up. The stickers are fine on this. I don't know why I said that.
Nice. All right, wait. So Ed said I have the Menards early beta 2 Santa Fe unit. I like it, but my line out Milwaukee Road Mikado run circles around it. Yeah, I agree. And then the dog food factory and the other Menards buildings are great. Yeah, they're. I mean, I agree. They're all awesome.
The one thing I really wish they could do, though, is add a little bit more animation, because the only other animated Menards buildings that I can think of are the FedEx building, the oil derrick, and there's also another one which kind of vexes me at the moment. But like you guys mentioned, really great buildings and such. But for me, I would really like to see a little bit more animation as far as buildings go.
Yeah, wasn't it the Door Factory used to have little spinning fans in the windows, the top floor windows, things like that. But I'm guessing they do it just to keep costs down, right?
I would turn I don't know what the power pack is right now, or I would turn the disco ball on the nuclear plant on right now for the live stream.
Oh yeah, and the power plant, like Ray
Oh yeah,
mentioned.
right.
Yeah. So now, but the one thing that's nice, right, is you can get those buildings so cheap and they're good quality, and then you could add some things to it, right? Like you could go to Evans Designs and get some cool LEDs and things like that add different effects to it. You could probably buy some Woodland Scenics like lights and stuff that add to it. There's the signs you can get. What is that? Miller Engineering has all those cool little LED signs. You could add those to the top of the building. So for the cost of the building, you could spend a little more money and add some cool stuff to it to give it that animation or that little extra touch too.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Datafied said, what buildings do we want to see Menards release?
A stadium.
That's a really good question.
Stadium, great.
A stadium would be awesome.
What a great one. I love that.
I would have actually loved to see, Lionel actually made a Pokemon train set for the 25th anniversary. But the one thing I felt that was kind of missing was the actual Pokemon Stadium, which you could actually put in the center of the circle track that you're running it on.
How old is that set? Someone was just talking about that in a video.
I've never heard of this set before. Now I got to look this up.
Oh, that set. When was that, Mike? That was a.
Yeah, you're not thinking of the video that Peachy done on her channel, Peachy's Trains, are you?
Maybe that was it. Oh God, I've got battery here.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. Oh, but I can't share it on here, can I? Look at this thing. Oh, all right.
The problem with Menards is it would be like Miller Park or something. It wouldn't be our stadiums, that's for sure.
Yeah, probably, but it would probably have space for you to put signs.
Oh,
and you
that's a
could
good point.
place a sign over it.
You
All
could
right,
just
so this is like their Lionel starter set, just in the mold for it, right? They just threw it together in a different thing. I see it now because it actually looks like the Mickey Mouse and Friends set I have down there.
I'm pretty sure I'm getting the Wonka set that's coming out.
That looks really cool. I think
I'm trying to cut back. I have like 3 Lion Chief. I don't want to get too many, but I don't have that. What's that engine they use in that one? It's like a 03 or sorry 060, I think.
I think it's a 040.
040.
040. Yeah, it's an 040 Pennsylvania Flyer steamer.
Yep. So I'm probably gonna nab that when it comes in. It's like a Christmas under the tree thing, I think.
Nice.
So getting back to that question that Datafied was, asking about in the comment section below about future Menards.
Creek Stadium. There you go.
The 2 buildings that I would really like to see is a Stewart's restaurant as well as a White Castle. Because my grandfather from my mom's side, he actually worked for Stewart's like a long time ago. He was actually one of the original owners, and then my grandmother worked for White Castle.
Another great.
She actually worked for the very first White Castle when it opened up back in the 1920s, 30s, somewhere around there. I can't exactly remember the date when the first White Castle opened up, but she definitely did work for the first White Castle.
Those are 2 great ones, especially the Stewart's. I lived in upstate New York for 11 years almost. And so I went to Stewart. I lived at Stewart's. So that's
That's a good one.
My grandfather was also a pretty good character when it came to working at Stewart's, because my mom was telling me this very funny story when he was when this guy came up to him at one of the Stewart's restaurants. He comes up to my grandfather and says, "I would like a job," and he's like, "I wouldn't hire you though," and he's like, "Why not?" And my mom said that my grandfather was like, "Because of that long hair of yours, that's why," and he's like, He's like, in other words, I wouldn't hire you. And then the guy says to him, "But Jesus Christ had long hair too." And then my grandfather's like, "Well, I wouldn't hire him either." I mean, only my grandfather would definitely get away with saying something like that back in the day. I mean, it's a different time, but man, he's really quite a character.
Nice.
And excuse me for everybody else who's watching. Pardon my language, but. I'm not trying to be offensive, or I wasn't trying.
No, that was a good story.
Just, that's what the sense of humor was like back in the day, to say the least.
I used to, so Coverdale saying the postage stamps burgers. I used to do the chicken with cheese at White Castle. Was it chicken with cheese there? Yeah, it was the chicken with cheese there. It was a White Castle in Midtown. When I used to go out drinking with buddies, I would hit the White Castle and get on the path back to Hoboken at like 3 a.m.
We had one in the Bronx, and it was like a 30-minute drive. I grew up in Westchester, so.
So I used to go to the one on Fordham Road.
Oh yeah, that's where we would go. We would all.
That's where I went to Fordham. That's where I went to undergraduate. I went to Fordham. So that one. But behind the plexiglass, you had to order through the plexiglass.
Absolutely. Like, why are we down here?
I think the only time that I've ever had White Castle, though, was when me and my family went over to this 4th of July party that our old neighbors were having in our old neighborhood. And I actually maybe had like 1 or 2 of those sliders. They were very tasty.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good.
The only thing I will say, however, are the French fries are a little bit on the salty side. I feel like, they're pretty good, but I feel like they may just have a little bit too much salt on them.
Yes, my wife went to Fordham.
Nice. All right, we'll text later. I don't want to give away ages and everything. I was there a long time ago.
Wait, you went to Fordham?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And I grew up in Connecticut, so we'll talk about where you lived in Westchester.
All right.
So how are you guys holding up with your battery percentage, Sean? You're at-
Not great.
not great.
Not great. I'm almost done for here.
Yeah.
So
And
do you
plus, he's
guys,
got to get up. He's got to get up tomorrow. He's got a busy
I
day.
know.
One
I
of
go, guys. You guys look at follow my Instagram. I will try and post on there a
All right.
video or a picture or two.
I'm gonna try as well. Oh yeah, my battery saver just kicked in.
All right.
So-
So do you guys want to end the video here just by running some of the trains around for just a few minutes? Only
Yeah.
if you guys want to, though.
Okay, I
don't-
can't only because my daughter's room's right above here and she's asleep. So
Yeah, and
out.
I'm actually looking at my battery now. I'm probably not gonna make it very long. So
Okay.
well, I think we could just end. Unless you want to keep going, you can run trains for everybody else.
Okay.
You can if you boot us out, right? So
Yeah.
All right, this was a good stream.
yeah,
This
because I just looked at
plus.
we're almost an hour and 40 minutes, man. We've had it a long
was a
time.
good one.
That's actually quite a record that we have.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe not the longest record, but a very impressive record.
Awesome.
Let's
Awesome.
say the least.
Nice.
All right. Well, I will see you boys on Friday.
Yes, definitely,
Well,
guys. All right. Thank you everybody for joining. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for coming by to hang out with me. It was a lot of fun.
All right.
Come say hello to me at York, everyone in the chat, and Corey.
Yeah.
I'll see you on Friday too.
I'll be there as well. So.
All right.
All right, guys. We'll see you
All right.
later.
Take care,
Thanks.
guys. Okay, since we got at least a few minutes left here on the live stream, I'm going to go ahead and run some of the trains for you guys. So right now on the main layout, I have my Lionel post-war 736 Berkshire with the Irvington cars from the conventional classics line, as well as the Sager Place observation car here. And then over here on the small loop on the inner side here, I have my Norfolk Southern tie-jector, Norfolk Southern tie-jector with some post-war pieces of rolling stock. And then finally on the other layout, I have my Lionel GP7 and GP9 headed by a Milwaukee Road 2338 and a Pennsylvania 8357 from the MPC era. So let me go ahead and give you guys a better angle so that way you're not staring at the TV here. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and start up everything here, and we'll run the trains around for just a few minutes, and then we'll wrap up the video from there. Glad we're on the same page here, Ed. So I forgot to mention this earlier on in the video, but unfortunately I don't have my microphone with me tonight. So you guys are just going to have to deal with me coming up to the camera and allowing me to speak as loud as I can here with all the trains running. See you on Friday, Corey. Okay, that's not good. All right, let's see what's going on here before we continue. Good boy. There we go. I think what I'm going to do here is to swap out the two Jeeps for the MTH Hiawatha. because I know a lot of you guys didn't get a chance to see it run last week, so I figured why not do it this week then. All right, I'm only going to take the Hiawatha around for a couple of turns, and then I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. All right, guys. Well, I think that about wraps it up for tonight's live stream. And just before we go, I just wanted to give a very special thank you and a shout out to Art over at Art's Model Trains, as well as Ray from Rates Trains for joining me tonight on this live stream slash StreamYard, which is actually the first StreamYard live stream that we ever done here on the channel. And like I said, this is our pre-York live stream for tonight. So the next time we'll be going live will be a couple of days after York, probably next Wednesday or so. And probably the next show that we do, we're going to be doing a unboxing on some of the items that we bought at the York show. We'll talk about it. We'll also do another Q&A. We'll be shooting the breeze with a lot of you guys till then. And most importantly, we'll be there to have fun, like I mentioned earlier. So once again, the York show is going to be in the next couple of days. I'll be there on Friday with my dad only. So if you guys are at the show this weekend, make sure to come up to us and say hi. We'll be very excited to catch up with you. And as always, we'll be there to have fun like we always do. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And we hope to see you at the York show this weekend. Take care, guys.